Garrett Blevins here with week 5, days 1 and 2 of the Cube Kingpin. The first day you'll see here is deadlift day, which was primarily a speed day. The way that I'm running the speed work with the Cube Kingpin is I'm doing one set of continuous pulls. That's what Brandon Lilly does himself, but the program does have some other variations for people that just want to do doubles or maybe even triples. This set of 450 went real well. My grip started to get a little tired at the end, but in general, nothing real special there. It felt pretty easy. I did a little extra on the block pulls, more than what was scheduled, and even with 500, these were moving real well today. Weights were just, it was a good deadlift day. Um, I've been working on not using my belt in a lot of my deadlifts, and also not using the straps unless I have to, even with the assistance work. And also I've been looking at my back angle and my hip in relationship to my hip level and seeing how much legs am I using, how much back am I using. I think I'm stronger when I bend down a little bit further and keep a little bit more upright. I think that does two things. One, I think it allows me to keep the bar closer to my shins, but I also think it allows for more leg drive, and I just seem to get tighter. Usually on the second or third rep when I'm doing sets, it works out better that way. I get my hips lower and I stay a little bit more upright, and the bar usually moves a lot faster off the floor, and lockout's a lot easier as well if I can stay upright. It just comes down to hip flexibility. Can I get that low and still keep my knees in a good position? I wish I was more mobile so I could get my knees out further, but I'm just not there yet. After I finished up the speed work, I decided to do at least one heavy pull off the blocks, so I moved it back up, and I ended up going to 640. I was planning on going heavier than this, but that rep right there was just a little tougher than I thought it should have been, so I called it there. And so, all in all, pretty good day. This is day 2 of the Cube Kingpin, and this was a max effort bench day. This day, it was just a little harder than I thought it would be. It wasn't that I didn't get through any of the sets or anything like that, but the weights, as you see here, especially with these first sets at doubles, the weights just weren't moving as fast as I would like them to. There's just a little bit of slowing on the second rep, which for me, I feel like at this weight, there shouldn't really be any change in bar speed, and overall the bar speed should be a lot faster. I think this was definitely a day where I benefited from using 95% of my 1 rep max as my training number, where I base my percentages on it, rather than a true max. However, I believe this was still a PR for me. I did 2 sets of 2 with 385 close grip. As you can see, my close grip is not real close, it's just closer in comparison to my normal grip width. But these both felt pretty good, and I think my triceps are definitely starting to catch up to my shoulders as far as the strength goes. It seems to be pretty consistent bar speed. I decided today to keep the slightly narrower grip for the first set of pause reps, just to add in a little bit more range of motion and let my triceps do some more work. I've been working also on getting my feet underneath me more, and my quads are so tight. If I don't squat on the same day that I bench, it's really hard for me to get into a good position, both with my shoulders and with my hips. But today I felt like I had my feet in a pretty good position, and I felt real stable on the bench. I was able to do the higher end on the sets for bench today, but overall, definitely things were moving slower than I would have liked them to. Really wish I could have kicked it up a notch. This reminds me of something I talked about in the last video I made on the Christian life, that sometimes it's just hard, and sometimes your things are not going right, and you're pressed on all sides, and it's difficult. The Greek word phthsis for tribulation has the idea of pressure, that you're being just pressured in on every side. And that's part of the Christian life. It's not all about things going well. It's not about health, wealth, and prosperity. There's tough times too. And it's a good thing that we have the aid of God in those times. And specifically, as Christians, we have the aid of the Holy Spirit that indwells us. When we become believers, we receive the Holy Spirit. And this is the spirit where we cry, Abba, Father. Now, a lot of people may have heard that before, that Abba, Father, but there's that phrase only occurs 3 times. It occurs once in Romans, once in Galatians, but the question is, where's Paul pulling that from? Why does he keep the Abba in there? Why is that phrase transliterated into Greek? That's not a Greek word. And that phrase shows up in other places as well. It shows up in the Garden of Gethsemane when Jesus cries out to the Father for help. And so maybe this spirit of Abba Father is referencing that spirit of suffering and trial as we go through hard times. I'm glad that God has given us that provision. Blessings.